Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves. And we are coming to you live today. Today is Tuesday the 15th, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. You know? Hey, that's very random, but bear with me. Today we are going to talk about something we probably haven't talked about a whole lot on the show, but we're going to talk about it today. And we are going to talk about ghost writing. Yes. We are going to talk about, should you hire a ghostwriter? Who's going to write your books? Who's going to write your posts? Is it cool? Is it ethical? Is it for you? Ladies and gentlemen. You know, ladies and gents, I've said ladies and gents a lot in the last minute and a half, probably. No, but we're gonna talk about ghostwriting about posts, ghostwriting about blog posts, ghostwriting about books, ebooks. Now, the reason why you should all write a book, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter, what field you go in, it does not matter. The reason why people write books, and there are people are writing books left and right. Listen, the days of I don't know about you, but I read this book by Stephen King called On Writing. It's basically about his life, and it's about his writing and how he had been writing. He was a teacher, and then he was writing, and then he finally got a break, and he finally got in like his first big score, like a big check, And back then, it was hard to break in. It was hard to break in to be an author. You know what I mean? Like you had to go to a publisher. You had to get published. And then there's very few people that's gonna really transform. There's gonna be very few people that's gonna be like Stephen King, or Ron L. Hubbard, or Michael Crichton, or Jackie Collins, or you just think about the people. The door to being an author was not not great. But now with the internet, the Amazon, the self-publishing game, it's like you could publish a book. Anybody can publish a book. You can publish a book. I can publish a book. Not saying that people are gonna buy it, but the reason why people create books is a lot of times it's not about the book sales itself. It's about the, hey, I'm an authority at this. I'm an authority on that. I'm an authority here, there. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. I'm an authority. And they want to establish themselves as being an authority. It's like my friend wrote a cookbook. He wrote a book. He wrote a recipe, a book about sweets, treats, and he wrote recipes for people, and the host of the show got a mention in that book. So I can always tell my daughter, hey sister, I'm in a book. You know what I mean? But anyway, very silly show today. No, but this is a very interesting subject we're gonna talk about, and now, the reason why people write books is to establish themselves, as a presence. It's because, in order to, we all know this, in order to really be successful, you have to establish yourself. You have to command the room. You have to say, hey, I am here. I am standing here, You don't have to be the loudest person. You don't have to be the most boisterous person. I'm not saying you have to be that, but if you write a book about, hey, I want to write a book about e-commerce, You can, and then that way, you write a book about e-commerce. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna explain it to you. Let's say you write a book about e-commerce, because I got a email about having a guest on the show, and they sent me a press release, and I was very fascinated by this press release. The guy has just written a book, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And they had this whole press release, and they talked about his book, and I was like, this is why people write books, because that way you can easily go on a talk show, you can easily go on podcast, because the medium these days, who cares about, I mean, I don't know about you. How many of you listen to the radio? Raise your hand. How many of you listen to the radio? I don't. I listen to podcasts. I listen to my YouTube videos. I listen to music. The music I want. I don't listen to the radio. Satellite radio I used to listen to. I don't really do that a whole lot anymore, because, it's kind of hard for me to listen. I don't really have time to listen to that, but hopefully one day I will. But satellite radio, podcasts. I mean, it's so many avenues to go down. Like, why do I want to listen to the radio when all the radio has is commercial after commercial after commercial? But the medium, so you can get on different podcasts, and everybody and their brother has a podcast. You know what I mean? So, think about that. You can go on different podcasts. You can establish yourself. You can, be a personality. You can if you get one or two people every podcast your parents you do to join your email list. I mean, you're doing a good job. If you can get one or two people, because listen, you don't need a million customers. You don't need a million followers. You know what I mean? You would like that. I mean, listen, you would like to have 330 million people following. We would all love to be. We would love to all be. I see The Rock has like 150 million followers on Instagram, something like that. You know what I mean? You probably could convert that into some cash. You know what I mean? But we all ain't got it like that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But you want to have eventually, not in the beginning. Of course, you're not gonna have. In the beginning, you probably have some jokers, but when you really get your business off and running, when you really get your business established, you want to have people that are going to be loyal customers or loyal followers, however you want to put it. You want them to spend money, They don't have to, of course, they're not going to, they don't have to spend every dime, but you want them to, if you come out with a course, come out with a product, come out with something, hey, they look at it, they might buy it, they might not buy it, but they stay on your list, they open your emails. At the end of the day, the most important thing that you can do when you have an email list is you want the people to at least to be reading your emails. Nothing sucks more than shooting out an email to like a group of 1,000 people and like 2 people reading the email. That's annoying. Okay, so you don't want that, but you want people reading the emails. Because the more the emails they read, the better the chance they get to buy from you, Now, it might take some people a year. It might take some people a month. It might take some people 5 years to buy something from you. But as long as they're reading the emails, then they're being active in your group. They're being active on your list. And that's what you're looking for. And so, if you write books, you can get on podcasts, you can get on YouTube channels. You can establish yourself as an authority. You can establish yourself as a presence. Now, there are different ways to go about writing books. There are different ways to do it. There's different avenues to go down. And it's a lot of people, some people write their own books. I'm sure the majority of people write their own books. Then you have some people who hire ghostwriters, okay? And they hire ghostwriters to write blog posts. They hire ghostwriters to do social media content. They hire ghostwriters to write books. Like, some people don't do anything. They just hire ghostwriters. And now, is that a bad thing? In my opinion, I wouldn't. I would have if I was doing a website. You know, at one point I had a website. You know, and I had a lot of articles on there, and I wrote every article, and I will tell you what, I was exhausted. Okay, writing an article every day, writing an article on a daily basis, especially when you're starting off and you're trying to work a job and you're writing articles and this, that, and the other. It's a lot of work. Whenever you get free, because this is the reason why. The most important thing you can do in the beginning is try to alleviate yourself from the job that you might have, you know. That's one of the most important things. So that way you have more time to do the things that you want to do. Like write. If you want to just sit there and write all day, then you can write. But writing an article every day and going to work, that's a lot of work. And so I remember one time I got exhausted and I was like, I'm going to hire somebody. And I tried to hire this lady to write a blog post for me. And of course, I'm one of these people, I'm like, this ain't, you know, I'm kind of critical about, you know, and at that point I was kind of critical about everything, you know, so I'm like, I read it and I was like, this ain't good. So I didn't even use it, but there have been people that they have blogs and they just hire people to write articles, you know. Articles here, article there, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. And because, listen, you can always go back and edit it. You can always go back and clean it up yourself. So it's not like, you know, if you think they're not using your voice, you can always go back and punch it up a little bit. So if that's the case, then you're still technically writing it, you know what I mean? But hiring a ghostwriter sometimes, there's nothing wrong with that. Would I hire a ghostwriter to write a whole book? Probably not. I mean, I think what you could do, what I could do, what anybody could do, I think you probably should, because we're not say you can be a writer, you can be a professional writer. But what if you write a book and then you're like, all right, now I want to edit this thing. You can hire somebody to edit your book. You know what I mean? And you can do that. That's not a ghostwriter. That's somebody editing your book, you know. You can always interview people, because I've heard this before. I heard this from the great Ben Settle. He said you can interview somebody and you can get it transcribed and you can use that as a book. You know, and then he says people will complain, but oh well. You know, I'm like, that's pretty smart. And you can also, you know, let's say you want to collaborate with somebody, because I bought a book the other day from who, I can't even think of. I bought a book the other day and it was a co-author. You know, the guy's a big name. I forgot who I bought the book from. I forgot the book. But anyway, I bought the book, and it's the guy's name. The guy's a big time person, and then there's some other guy that co-wrote it. So I'm like, the guy probably did all the writing. He probably just chimed in with some words. You know what I mean? So you can do it that way too, you know. But there's nothing wrong with hiring a ghostwriter. There's nothing wrong with having ghostwriters, you know. If you are more, because you have to look at it like this. The one thing you can do, if you are a small operation, then don't worry about this. But if you want to become a big operation, if you want to try to be a big time, like multi-million dollar, you know, operation, and you want to scale up to something big, you can't do everything by yourself. So you might want to hire the ghostwriter. You might want to have somebody to write your blog post every now and then, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you might want to hire somebody to collaborate writing a book with you. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with ghostwriters, you know what I mean? Like, Now, I wouldn't, you know, you want to do something, you know what I mean? But you don't have to do everything. That's one thing about being an American, you know. Americans take pride on, I do it all myself. You know, I can't speak for any other country, but I know in America, you know, people love to tell you how hard they work. People love to tell you they work 80 hours a week, you know, which is kind of insane if you think about that, you know. But there's nothing wrong with a ghostwriter, you know. If you need a ghostwriter, you can go to different places like you can go to like iWriter, you can go to Fiverr, you can go to Upwork, you can go to any kind of place like that, and you can have somebody start writing your blog post just to get, like, if you need some help, you know what I mean? Like, nothing wrong with that. So, and they might write good stuff, and always double check the work, you know. You are at the end of the day the editor of your website. You are the editor of your books, the editor of your posts. So you have to look at that stuff and make sure that it's in you have to make sure that it's in the way you speak, and you have to make sure that it's in the way that you talk, or people will realize, hey man, this guy, he ain't writing them books, you know what I mean? Like, you want to make sure that they use your voice, you know. And so the smart thing would be to do is find a couple people and use them often, you know. Don't go, you know, this guy, that guy, blue, 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 blue. You know, if you could use the same person, they sort of learn your voice, learn who you are, you know. And another thing you can do, and if you wanted to do blog posts or, you know, books, you can always record. I have this thing called Recorder. It's Rev. Yeah, Rev. I have this thing called Rev, REV. And what you do, you talking to the app. And once you get done, you send it off to the people. They transcribe it for you, and they send it back to you. You can do it that way if you don't want to sit down and write, or sit down and type. You know, you can do that for emails. You can do that for blog posts. You can do that for books. You know, you can do that for whatever you want to. You know, it's gonna cost you a little money, but that's okay. It is quicker. You know, because another thing, at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to be. You want to work as fast as possible, you know. I listened to the great Dan Kennedy, and he said, the faster you are, the more money you'll make. You know what I mean? So write fast, you know, do podcasts quickly. You know, that's why I tell you, hey, try to create content on a daily basis. You know what I mean? And create it quick. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this interesting topic, you know. And don't feel ashamed if you use a ghostwriter. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. But make sure you are editing the stuff. Make sure it is in the voice that you want it to be in, you know. And make sure that you are happy with the work. If you're not happy with the work, let the people know, you know. You have to say, hey, this is not up to my snuff. You know, redo it, rework it, or if you want to punch it up, you punch it up, you know. But make sure you are getting your money's worth. And if you're going to use the Rev, there was a lady that emailed me once about using her service. I had to find it for you. But if you want, I think if you want, you can always send a message to the show, or you can email me, and I'll tell you. But for right now, use Rev. You know, I had to dig through the crates and find the other lady, but she said she has better service than Rev. So, you know, I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is our show for today. We will be back tomorrow with an all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano, and I will talk to you later. And as always, everybody, oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, why haven't you? Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. All right? We are back. We are better than ever. I know these last 6 months have been like a plane in a storm, a little shaky. But baby, we are here, and we are here now. The storm is over, all right? We'll be back tomorrow with an all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the greatest podcast on God's green earth. But until then, tomorrow, everybody, Peace.